Greetings, everyone. My name is John Gabriel, and this is the New Calculus channel. What you're looking at in front of you today doesn't really have anything to do with mathematics directly. It's really about the pandemic and the coronavirus. So there are some people who still believe that the virus is a hoax, and I can't understand that because we can see these viruses using transmission electron microscopes, okay? And so I've downloaded two images which I'd like to show you. And here's the first image. You see these little blue colored dots? These here are anomalies in the tissues, and they're actually the virus itself. And this was the first COVID-19 virus before it mutated. So then I have another enhanced image, this one here, which shows you one particle. This is very highly magnified and high resolution. And of course, the colors that are put here, the colors that you see red, are not actually the color of the virus itself, because you don't really have color in the original TEM. So the virus is not a hoax. It exists, people. And I'm telling you this because there are certain individuals who I care about deeply who believe that this is a hoax. And I know that nothing I say can change their minds, so I just want to point out the evidence and provide some very simple, rational thinking. That's all I want to do. So let's go back to some of the people who are denying it. There's this psychiatrist who's a complete and utter crank, by the way. His name is Andrew Kaufman. Now, this guy is a psychiatrist. So what he knows about virology and what he knows about the science of and here he is. This is his photograph here. What he knows about the science of viruses is very iffy. So he was interviewed on TV, and how can you tell whether somebody is a crank or not? You use your brain, people. You think. You listen to what they say, and then you make a decision, right? Okay. So let's read what he says. So he says, it's no big deal to have a common inflammation of the appendix, which can lead to sepsis and death. According to Kaufman, it's simply constipation. Simply constipation. So in other words, when your appendix is about to burst and cause sepsis and all that kind of thing, it's just simply constipation, which can be relieved by enema. I mean, I've never heard something. Even Donald Trump isn't that stupid, okay? So people, please think. Another thing I'd like to tell you is you cannot just get on the internet and pretend you are a researcher when you've done nothing about, you've studied nothing about virology, you don't know anything about the current technology, and you're seeing people die, by the way. You're seeing people die and you're claiming that it's all a hoax. Now, let me tell you something else, which you need to think about. The polio virus, as well as the smallpox virus, caused a lot of deaths. The smallpox virus alone caused 300 million human deaths. And if people back then thought the same way as they did now, listening to these cranks, you'd still have people dying from smallpox. And it would have mutated several times. Not only that, you'd have Hopalong Cassidys all over the planet. But polio has basically been eradicated. It's a terrible disease, by the way. Imagine having one leg shorter than the other and possibly dying if the disease progresses to a stage where you can't deal with it. Viruses are not hoaxes. So what we see here is real. And by not being vaccinated, here's what you're doing. If you don't harm yourself, you're possibly going to take the lives of others. Okay, that to me is not right. And there's no way you can turn back the clock. Once you're infected, you can't become vaccinated after that. You have to first be well. Then the most selfish thing you can do, people, is not to be vaccinated, because if you're around an individual who has an immunocompromised system, like myself, what it means is you're going to end up killing me whether you like it or not, at some point or other. Why? Because my immune system is not as strong as yours. Now, I don't mind dying, but I'd prefer to die by a bullet in the head rather than being suffocated. I've had bilateral pneumonia 5 times, and I know what it's like not to be able to breathe. In fact, I still struggle to breathe every day of my life. The worst thing that can happen is not to be able to breathe, people. So do not believe these damn cranks and these fools who don't know what they're talking about. Get the damn shot, man. Because let me tell you something. It's going to save you. Well, possibly it's going to reduce your chances of getting horribly ill and help prevent you from making things worse for others. Ultimately, we want to get rid of this virus. In other words, we want to let it follow the course of the polio and the smallpox and all the other viruses, okay? Now, this don't think that you can make logical decisions on a science that you've never studied. Even I, who am a genius, by the way, I'm a genius, I cannot deny these facts that I see, especially in the image library, especially from people who've been working with these things. And it's not as if this is some huge conspiracy. They've taken the Turkish scientist who helped develop the vaccine, took it herself, okay? So there's no conspiracy here. Don't be an idiot. You're not putting poison in your body. Yes, there are always side effects to whatever human beings do. There will be something that is not perfect. But you have to think to yourself, okay, these are the pros and these are the cons. Do the pros outweigh the cons? You're going to die someday anyway, and you're putting poison in your body every single day of your life. Okay, the food that you eat is not of the highest quality. It's all been reduced. The water that you drink, the very air that you breathe has pathogens in it. So to say something like, I don't want to put this in my body, that's just a load of crap, basically. And nobody is telling you to do this because they're trying to take your life away or kill you, right? Quite the opposite. It's to prevent serious illness. And now let me tell you, I have experienced not being able to breathe. I was in ICU several times. I've had the SARS-2 virus, the one that came out before this latest 2019. I had it in 2016 and I almost died. Let me tell you, I had a double infection. I had aspergillosis in my lungs, and it would have killed me. I was in ICU for 3 weeks in California, and I've been in ICU several times. So I want to tell you, people, this is something that you mustn't mess around with. Trump and his supporters are fucking idiots. I'm beginning to think that the only good Republican is a dead one. Yes, I know that's overreacting, but you know what? You're not geniuses, you're not smart, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So what you need to do is realize that you're not a scientist, and no matter how many hours you spend reading about stuff you've never studied, you don't understand it the way these professionals understand it. Yes, I know there are cranks in many fields of science, but one has to use their brain to determine who is telling the truth and who is not, and to look at the facts. I mean, if you deny that this virus exists, you're a knucklehead. People are dying. What's causing the deaths? If it's not a virus, what the fuck is it? Okay? Right. Well, I think I've gotten a little worked up. Uh, I am a humanist. I do care about humanity. I do care about people. Use your brain. Okay? And don't think that you can know better than somebody who's actually studied and a genius like myself. I am a genius. And I'm telling you right now, my research is much better than yours or anybody else's. And I'm telling you that I do know better. And if you don't believe me, well, that's your prerogative. I'll still respect you and love you, but guess what? Um, I'm not going to be around long if you are carrying the virus and I happen to be exposed to it. Basically, one of these days, it's going to kill me. So if you want me to be around, you probably need to make sure that your chances of being infected are much less. Otherwise, what's going to happen is I'm going to contract the virus, and there's no way I'm going to survive it. Well, people, I hope I've stimulated you. I hope I've made you a little bit more enthusiastic about this topic, but this is very serious, and it's not just for old people and immunocompromised people. Young, healthy people are getting it, being placed on ventilators and dying. These things are facts. So you want to take a chance? Go ahead, take a chance, but you're not going to only end up harming yourself, but you're going to end up harming others. Okay, so this is the New Calculus channel. My name is John Gabriel. Till next time, please use your brain. Goodbye.